I wish I had an excuse for why it took so long for me to do this, but I just couldn't get out of bed this morning. Happy Friday, everybody. Okay. So, there's actually a very good reason why I'm wearing this particular outfit today, but I will get to that at the very end of the video. So, before we get to that, let's get some low behind the act of kindness. Where's my low? It does involve something I want to talk about at the very end of the video. My high, on the other hand, is, got to talk to my mom yesterday, as well as see someone very important to me. And my act of kindness was, doing something that my mom told me to do, which I did. Now, I wound up, I'm pretty sure I was right about the Broncos beating the Raiders yesterday. Was I? Pretty sure I got that game right. Yes, I was right. So that would make my overall record for week 10. I can just bring this over very carefully. 1-0. So there we go. Now let us save my progress for because seriously, I can't tell you how scary it is when I think I don't double save something and then I wound up doing it. You know what I mean? Okay, double save here. Now let's get into yesterday's episode of Hot Ones, which featured Woody Harrelson. Actually, this was very interesting because, to my knowledge, this is the first time this has ever happened. Because there have been people on Hot Ones who've had dietary restrictions before, but this is the first time that the dietary restrictions were so important that it was an entirely different hot sauce lineup altogether. For example, sauce number 1, which would have been Dawson's hot sauce and coffee date, was actually the classic garlic Fresno. And it gets even crazier from there. Speaking of which, the very first question, they talked about, because Woody Harrelson's on there promoting Now You See Me, Now You Don't. And he talked about hypnotizing his friend, Keith Berry, and learning how to hypnotize people. Actually, someone made a very special guest at the very end of the video, at the end of the episode. I'll get to that in a few minutes. Hot sauce number 2, which would have been crema matcha, was actually Senor Lechuga hot sauce .006 lemon garlic habanero from a couple seasons ago. He talked about any time he ever felt regret being the last day of shooting or whatever project he was on, and he felt really sad for a War for the Planet of the Apes, which was a great movie, by the way. I mean, honestly, to this day, I go back and forth between that and All the Money in the World for the best movie I saw in 2017. With that said, he talked about, if he did that movie again, he'd, go crazy. It's not just regret that the project's over and he met a lot of people. It's like, man, what could I have done differently? What could I would have done. It's something that we all go through. You have such a good experience, but then you think, oh man, I could have done this to make this experience much better. That was hard to do that without yawning. Okay, so talked about, sauce number 3 was, instead of the Hot Ones pickled garlic sriracha, it was actually the Elotes Loco. And for that one, they talked about working with Terrence Malick and now he likes to work with nature, like he did in The Thin Red Line and stuff like that. And he'll focus more on the nature aspects of the scene, which is actually really, one scene in one particular movie, he focused on a bird, stuff like that. For sauce number 4, instead of Passiflora Fire, they did the Hook and Arrow sauerkraut and mustard, also from a couple seasons ago. Yeah, if you couldn't notice, a lot of these sauces were from several seasons ago. Again, for dietary restrictions. Again, I don't think you've ever seen anything like this before. At least not that I've seen. The kind of like flour that they were eating, yeah, I definitely, they've done that before. Anyway, honestly, for question 4, all I did was just shoot some skeet in regards to the fact that, Woody Harrelson is finally on Hot Ones. Like, that's really all it was. Let's see. Okay, this was actually, like, Sauce 5 was the same as it's been all season long. Neil's Real Deal, Chimichurri Habanero. And they talked about how one line was improvised in The People versus Larry Flint due to a ping pong game, I'll bring the ping pong ball scene. Was that line, that's what he said. Okay, so sauce number 6 was, instead of Hot Ones Sweet Scotch Bonnet and Tropical Amarillo, it was Onima Habanero Sherry Koji. And they talked about how Hollywood of today was different from Hollywood back then. It's basically a question that Sean will ask every now and again to a movie star or a celebrity in regards to the fact that now we live in the days of internet and streaming, and how when heck even I was a kid they didn't have that back then, and how less people find it necessary to go to see a movie on the big screen. Which frankly I think listen, getting rid of the video stores, okay, that kind of was bound to happen at some point, but come on. There will never quite be anything as truly magnificent as seeing a movie on the big screen. That's just my 2 cents on the matter. Okay, so for wing number 7, instead of Hawaiian hot cheese, it was actually the return of the Pepper Ninja, Ninja Napalm. Yeah. That's a deep cut, actually. They talked about the natural competition bleeding out on the set for White Man Can't Jump, and how, like, Woody Harrelson made a bet with Wesley Snipes, like, he couldn't shoot this for like $100 or whatever, or something like that, which is funny. Okay, so we get to the Bond Beyond Insanity. Come on, of course they were going to change that sauce. And talked about being a spectator at the World Chess Championship, as well as being a ceremonial first mover and playing to a draw against chess grand champion Garry Kasparov. Which, you know what? Chess is one of those, yes, for all intents and purposes, chess is a board game. It is. Let's not beat around the bush here. It is. But, there are just people out there that love that game so much that, I find it that, usually, I do find chess fascinating, but only if it's ever really brought up in conversation. Like, it feels like that thing I really want to be a part of, but I just haven't found the time to do it yet. I know what chess is. It's, you got your row of pawns. There's the rook, the knight, the bishop, the queen, and the king. I think those are all the chess pieces. I could be wrong. Okay. So, there was that. For sauce number 9, said the karma sauce is funkin' yellow. It was the Queen Majesty Sicilian Scorpion. And for that, they talked about the most fun project he ever did in his career was doing Surfer Dude. I talked about a story about Matthew McConaughey. And now we get to the very last, the last dab. I'll be honest, I kind of forgot to write down if it was still the last dab Thermageddon or not. Oops. And, okay, remember how I said there was a special guest at the end of the episode? Well, as I said earlier, Woody Harrelson is promoting Now You See Me, Now You Don't. And, they had, and obviously for a movie like that, you got to have people to teach the actors how to do these things and stuff like that. And for this episode, David Blaine was a special guest at the end. Basically, with the last dab and all the heat scorching through him, which I have to say, for all intents and purposes, Woody Harrelson was able to get through this episode, but how do I put this delicately? He really talked about how long he had to go before he was done. Anyway, so basically, Woody Harrelson's shuffling cards, and Sean had a number in his head, and Woody Harrelson had to guess what the number was. And David Blaine was actually watching, saying, "If you actually get this right, I will lose my mind." He actually used a different word, but I'm trying to be better about cursing on doing these. I do a pretty solid job not cursing on. I'll curse every now and again, but I don't make a habit out of it. Anyway, so basically, Woody Harrelson was able to correctly predict the number that Sean Evans had in his head, which was 8687. Like, he shuffles the cards, and then Woody Harrelson tells Sean, gives the deck to Sean, and then Sean Evans put down cards until he didn't want to do it anymore. And Woody Harrelson took those cards away. And then Woody Harrelson said, take 4 more cards, put that in front of him. 8687. That is ungodly impressive. Like, stuff like this is why people really need to start believing in magic more. Just saying. I believe in magic, though. I do. You have to. I'd much rather live in a world where magic is real than a world where magic is not real. So there's that. Now, with that said, there's a very special reason why I'm wearing this particular outfit. It's because it's actually one of my all-time favorite shirts that I own. I actually have one that comes in red, but I'm wearing it blue today because the Horseheads Blue Raiders have a very big game tonight at Vestal. And unfortunately, tonight I'm going to be spending an evening with my mother and father. So I will not be able to travel all the way to Vestal. With that said, should any Horseheads Blue Raiders see this message, or if anyone's able to see this and able to pass this on to the Blue Raiders, it is this: play smart, not hard. Make good choices throughout the day. Eat good food, drink plenty of water, and this is sectionals now. You gotta remember that. At this point, it is now the world against Horseheads. Even though it's just Section 4, but yes. It's got to be like the world versus Horseheads. It has to. I mean, it's never fun traveling on the road. I mean, funny enough, I was actually kind of naive to like how everything worked back then, because I actually liked going to away games. Gave me a chance to see new places. Which, again, call it my naive optimism. I should trademark that term. Anyway, fun fact, in my entire career at Horseheads, I only went to Vestal High School twice ever, and they were both for wrestling. Never got a chance to go for football. My sophomore year, I got cut from JV, and that's when we would have gone to Vestal for that game. As for my junior year, where varsity would have gone to Vestal, Vestal was getting their field redone. So anytime we ever played Vestal whenever Vestal had a home game, it was actually at Union Endicott. So yeah, except for like pictures on, the internet and stuff, I've never actually seen Vestal's football field in person. So yeah. Vestal has a lot of memories for me in terms of football, though. I mean, listen, I told you I was never good, but trust me, I have memories for sure. It was the first game that we played when I was on JV my freshman year, and we lost. Yeah, we weren't very good my freshman year. My junior year, again, we had to go to Union Endicott to play them at home because remember Vestal's field was getting redone, and we just barely lose, partly because our star player was hurt. However, we did finally beat Vestal in the sectional semifinal. Technically, we were at UE, but Vestal was the home team, so yes, we beat Vestal when they were at home. Again, it was at UE, but we still beat them at home by a field goal kick. Let me tell you how the game worked. So we score, and we're up 7-0. Vestal scores, but they missed the extra point. Vestal's defense was actually so dominating, and so back then, Vestal blitzed like white on rice. They were a very defensive-minded team. They pushed us back so far they wound up getting a safety on us. So now it's 8-7. We get a field goal kick and we win 10-8. My senior year, we played Vestal at home, and while our defense, we had our backs against the wall, but we pulled out the W. So yeah, those are my memories playing Vestal in football. Actually, there is one memory I do have about Vestal that has nothing really to do with me, but my sophomore year, Vestal's varsity team, 22 of their starters, they had 22 starters. Obviously, 11 different guys on offense, 11 different guys on defense. Of those 22 starters, 21 of them were seniors, with the one junior being their safety. That's insane. And they wound up losing to Union Endicott in the sectional title game. Yeah, UE upset them, which is crazy. So yeah, those are all my Vestal memories for football. I mean, listen, it was years ago, and I've acknowledged many times I was not very good. I was pathetic. That was just me. I dug my own grave in several instances, to be sure. But I still have the memories, and you know what? There really was nothing better than beating Vestal at home in the sectional semifinal my junior year. And I think you guys are going to do it again. I firmly believe you guys are going to do it again. But only time will tell. So those are my Horseheads Blue Raiders. In the words of my father, play like champions. I hope you like this video. If you don't like, subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow me on social media. As always, I'm very humble in this video. For all of you guys watching the show, you have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful Friday. And remember, if you guys want to talk to me, we're here to let me know what's back. Take care and make good choices. 607 all day, baby.